morning, everybody. This is Oliver, and I just got back from my 4-day, 3-night backpacking trip down into Havasu Falls. I was there from September 9th through September 12th, 2018. And prior to my trip, I did a short video detailing all the gear that I was going to carry with me down into the canyon. So today, I'm going to do a short gear review of some of the items that I took with me. I'm going to talk about some items that worked really well, some items that didn't work so well, some items that I wish I would have brought, and some items that I probably could have left in the car. So I'll get into it talking about the items that worked really well. The first item is a Sawyer Squeeze water filter. On the second day of my trip, my group, a group of 4, we hiked to the confluence. It's a 16-mile round trip from the campgrounds, and you know, most of us were carrying 2 to 3 water liters capacity, so it was nice to have this guy. You know, every time we got a little low on water, just walk over to the stream and fill up the dirty water bag with a little bit with the river water, and just go ahead and squeeze it on in to my water bottle or water bladder, whatever anyone was carrying. So this item was money. I talked to a lot of people that only hiked to Beaver Falls, which is like a 6-mile round trip from the campground, and they were talking like they ran out of water, people had to give them water. So I highly suggest getting a water filter. I've been using the Sawyer Squeeze for a couple of years, and this thing's amazing. So the second item that I really liked having was this Columbia Silver Ridge long sleeve shirt. I've been using this thing for probably about a year, and I love this shirt. I wore it every day I was down there. I wore it while I swam in the falls. It was nice, that way I didn't have to worry about putting sunscreen on. This thing dries super quick. Usually when I got out of the water, even at Havasu Falls, the 3/4 mile walk back to my campsite, the thing would almost be dry already. So this shirt is great. You know, you can roll the sleeves up if you want it to be short sleeve. It's got some vents in the back somewhere here, and you know, just a great shirt. So, and then the third item would be this Pacific Northwest day bag. I picked this thing up right before I left. So I didn't have a day bag, and I didn't want to be hauling my backpack around just on day hikes. You know, that's just way too much to carry with. So I picked this thing up. It's great. I think it's like 24-liter bag. It's got pouches on the side for water bottles. It's got a zipper in the front, and then the main compartment is actually a dry bag. So it's highly water resistant. I wouldn't say it's waterproof. I haven't tested it out, but it is seam taped on the inside, so I'm willing to bet it'll keep most of your gear dry in there. The only thing I didn't like about it, you know, it's just a day bag. It weighs 6 ounces, so there's no kind of frame, there's no support on your back. So anything you put in it, you're just gonna feel on your back. So what I ended up doing was just taking my Thermarest Z seat. You know, I just use this every time I go hiking, just to, you know, take a rest, sit down on the ground, so, you know, I don't get dirty or whatever. But I just ended up taking this and sliding it inside the bag and putting it against my back, and it worked great. It was really comfortable. So those are the items that I really liked having on the trip with me. So I'm going to talk about some stuff that didn't work out so well. And the first thing is these Vibram 5-finger shoes. Now I will say these were awesome to have right around the waterfalls. I swam in them. It was nice to, you know, just hike down to Havasu Falls or down Mooney Falls wearing these. But I had an idea that I would use them for that purpose, and also use them to have around camp as a camp shoe. And they didn't work so well for that. They're just really difficult to put on a lot. I don't have much dexterity, I guess, in my toes, so they were just difficult for me to slide on. It'd take a lot of time. So, you know, like I said, I really did like having them to wear in the falls, but you know, they were a horrible camp shoe. So I think next time I would probably just take a pair of really cheap flip-flops, lightweight flip-flops. That way, you know, if I want to walk around camp or like down to the bathroom or something, you know, I just have those. Usually around camp, I was just barefooted. The campsite was really sandy. It was comfortable on the feet, but I didn't like walking to the bathroom or anywhere else without these. So, you know, that I don't like hiking long miles in these, so I wouldn't wear them for that either. But they were really nice to have in the water. I think next time I'd probably just take, like I said, a pair of cheap flip-flops, and then I would probably just wear these in the falls, my trail runners. I hike the confluence in these, and you have to cross the river probably about 10 to 11 times each way. And I just wore these the whole time with a pair of smart wool, thin wool socks. I just wore these the whole time. I never took them off. My shoes dried overnight. So maybe if you were there in the hotter months like I would, that would work for you. But yeah, next time I'd probably just wear my trail runners. You know, when I went swimming in Havasu Falls, it worked just fine for me. So the second item was actually, that didn't work so well, was actually the Sawyer Squeeze dirty water bag. Typically when I go hiking or backpacking, I usually bring a small cut-off smart water bottle just so I can dip it in the stream or the water source, and then I just pour it in the bag, and then I can filter it into my water bottles. I just figured being so close to the stream and being nice weather, I would just go ahead and stick this in the river and it would fill up right away, and I wouldn't need to use this at all or worry about taking it. I was wrong about that. These bags suck for trying to fill up in a water source. They just have a small opening and it's hard to fill them up. So, you know, it was nice to have it just to filter the water out of, but I definitely would have needed to bring this. It would have made it a whole lot easier just to fill the bag and not sit there and struggle in the stream trying to fill up this thing. So that does it for some items that didn't work. Some items I wish I would have brought would be, the first item would just be like an extra pair of shorts. I only brought this pair of shorts, so I wore them on the hike every day. I wore them in the falls, in the river, and they dry. They're just Nike running shorts. They dry really quick, but you know, sometimes when I got towards the night, they'd still be a little bit damp, and I wouldn't want to, you know, be hanging out in the damp shorts, especially after the sun went down. So a lot of times I was just sitting there. I would change into my extra pair of underwear, and I'd just be sitting in camp in a pair of underwear and a t-shirt, boxer briefs, not tighty whities or anything like that. But it just been a little more comfortable to have an extra pair of shorts with me. So the second item I wish I had brought would have been probably some kind of lantern or something. I have this. It's a solar powered. It's called M-Power collapsible lantern. Just blow it up, and you know, it lights up. All I had was a headlamp for the trip, and you know, it worked great, but just sitting around camp, it'd have been nice to, you know, have something that illuminated the area a little bit more. You know, I don't like light pollution, but you know, everyone just sitting there with their headlamps on, blinding each other. It'd just been nice to have a little bit more of a main light. I did start researching it, and I found these things. I think they're called, what I got here, they're called torch glows, and basically there's just little silicone cups that you can put over your headlamp. They're like 10 bucks, and you get them at Walmart. I think they weigh like 2 ounces or something like that. You just put them over their headlamp, and they kind of make your headlamp into a lantern. So I'll probably look into getting something like that. And then the third thing I wish I had brought is some kind of like nasal spray. My nose got super dry when I was out there. I went out last year and did Bryce Canyon and Zion and some of the other parks up there in Utah, and my nose got super dry the whole time. By the end of the week, I was kind of getting nosebleeds and stuff. So I live in Atlanta. It's really humid here, and I don't know, every time I go out west, my nose just gets super dry, and after about a week, I start getting nosebleeds. And I don't know why. I grew up in Montana. It's pretty dry there. I never have any issues, but now when I go back out west, I always get dry nose. So that was a pretty dumb mistake not to bring some kind of nose spray or something like that just to moisturize my nose. So I wish I'd have brought that. And the last would be just some stuff I wish I had left in the car. So the first item is my sleeping bag. You know, like I said, I was there September 9th through September 12th, and I looked at the weather report before we left, and it said it was going to be near 100 during the day and about 60 at night. It's an 800 fill Aegis Max sleeping bag, down sleeping bag. It's only rated for 50 degrees, so I just figured, you know, that'd be a good sleeping bag to take. I don't need to take my 20-degree bag or anything crazy like that. The thing only weighs a pound. It compresses super small, so yeah, compared to my shoe, you know, that's how big it is. I think I wear like a size 11.5 shoe. This thing, you know, like, it's super small, doesn't weigh only a pound, but it was so hot at night. I'd usually go to bed just sitting there in my boxer briefs, and I'd be hot. There wasn't much breeze when I'd go to sleep. And then probably about 4 in the morning, the wind would pick up and I'd get a little chilly. I'd just take my sleeping bag and just kind of put it on my shoulders or whatever. But I didn't need it. I could have just used like that. I could have wore the t-shirt I had. And I also had like a long sleeve REI base layer shirt, lightweight. So I've probably been just fine in that. So if you're going, you know, the same time of year I did or during the summer months, you probably don't need a sleeping bag. Like I said, mine's pretty lightweight, so it didn't bother me that much carrying it, but it definitely did not need it. So the second thing I should have left in the car was I brought one of those rat sacks to store my food in. You put your food in the sack, and it's got a mesh sack so squirrels and other animals can't get into it. Yeah, I saw 1 million of those Home Depot buckets down there. So yeah, my group, we had 2 of them. We just used them, never used the rat sack, and I ended up giving it to somebody on the way out of camp. So at like 10 ounces and $30, I really didn't need that. I don't know, maybe you won't be fortunate and be able to find one of those Home Depot buckets, but yeah, I really didn't need that. Could just stayed in the car. So the last thing I wish I left in the car was anything with like chocolate. Dark chocolate was fine, but anything, some of the food I brought, like the bars I brought, you know, had chocolate. And you know, after the day, you just open it up and just be a big chocolate mess. So those things definitely were a no-go. I brought some other bars that worked fine that didn't have any chocolate, but yeah, definitely don't need any of those kind of bars. So that pretty much does it for my gear review. Like I said, I was really happy with everything I brought. A little disclaimer: some of my gear is pretty expensive. Like my pack, you know, it's over $300, but it's a great pack, and my tent is very expensive as well. But I'm doing a lot of backpacking these days. I had knee surgery 8 months ago, so I just needed to invest in some lighter weight gear, and you know, I've been really happy with it. So I'll go ahead and end the video. I'll put a link in the description box for the original video I shot detailing all the gear I was going to bring with me. And then also in the future, I'll probably do a video on the food that I brought with me and talk about that a little bit. So thanks for watching, and I hope if you go to Havasu Falls, you had as much fun as I did.